that's called, well, when you're single, you have the preparation for it, but you also have the dating process. You never date a man. If you're single and you're over 25, don't date a man who's you're more interested in than he's interested in you. Or don't date a man who you don't know him and you suddenly feel sexually aroused. This is out of balance. This is you on your male side. This is also, in psychological terms, we call it, well, a lot of different terms. It's a traumatic bonding with your father. Okay. Absent fathers create a imbalance in your hormones so that you see an absent man, unavailable, married, dangerous, drug addict, and little antennas go up and said, he's the one for me.
That one, I picked that guy.
Yeah. And the way you pick him is based upon sexual attraction. See, men and a healthy male, he will go into a room and there's a certain number of women in there. If he's really young, he's attracted to any woman in a short skirt. But as he matures and gets to know the people, he's not going to be attracted to all women. He's going to be attracted to certain chemistry that goes on. That's a physical chemistry a man needs to feel before pursuing a relationship, generally speaking. Now, let's say I was there's exceptions to everything I say. So sure. if I'm married and I'm not available, I'm in a relationship, then I won't feel so much attraction. I won't feel hardly any attraction to these other women. But I can say in my mind, if I wasn't married, that's the woman I would go for. Okay. See, this is a knowing of the body. That's a physical chemistry. Women need to feel healthy. What I'm suggesting is the healthy beginnings of relationship is in your mind. You feel a healthy chemistry with him, meaning it's not sexual at all. It's curiosity, it's interest, it's admiration, it's exploration. You want to get to know him. You want to get to, you're drawn to him. You want to talk to him. You want to share yourself with him. You want to share your ideas with him. There's a place of intellectual, mental compatibility that you start with. Sure. And that's conversation.
So let me interrupt you for a second. Yeah. So when a woman sleeps with a man on a first date, for example, or is just interested in him for sex, is that being too much in her masculine?
Completely.
And what about when a woman thinks, oh, if I sleep with him, then he'll like me? Where is that coming from?
Illusion. Illusion.
Crazy.
Listen, there's a great cartoon where the woman's asking the man, is it true that you'll like me less if you have sex with me on the first date? Yeah. And he says, well, I'll like myself more.
Oh my God, that's horrible, but brilliant and true. Absolutely.
So, if you want to sow your wild oats and be on your male side, go ahead. But on your female side, the arousal, it's not sexual arousal, but it's the joy of relating, is having conversation with the guy, getting to know him, having him primarily get to know you. Yeah. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to be validated. I want to have that interaction. Next comes more of an emotional interaction, a compatibility, emotional chemistry, which is he does things for you. He does things. He plans a date. He does this. He does that. And it makes you happy. You see, he has to bond with you as well. See, he doesn't bond with you if it's just sexually. He needs to bond with you by first getting to know you and having respect for you and interest in you. Then you open your heart. First, it opens by him doing things for you and you're delighted and you're happy. But if you're running the show, he doesn't get a chance to bond with you by providing something for you. Now, this sounds so old-fashioned, but it's the masculine side of us, is the part of us that wants to provide for others. Now,
and feel needed, right? And feel appreciated, respected, all of this. Like a man has to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're the expert.
The man, he needs to feel needed. What you need to feel is safety and trust that I deserve it and I can get it. So what kind of a context can you feel I deserve to have him pay for the meal, plan a date for me? What's the context that allows you to do that? Because you're not a selfish person. The context is the understanding that allowing a man to make you smile is a huge gift to him. See, women don't know that, because if I let you do things for me and I smile, maybe in the beginning you think I'll give it back to you, but very soon you'll feel like most women in relationships where they say I give and I give and I get nothing back. Because when you give to men, they think, oh, okay, I must have done something good to deserve that, and they do less.
Well, and I love that you said that in your book. A woman gives more and gets less. And so if she actually wants to get more from her man, she needs to give less and retreat and take more time for herself, actually.
Well, there's taking time for yourself, and then there's taking time for him to stimulate your female side. And many times when women don't have a clear understanding of male and female differences, we really come at the world through different lenses. And at times we have a balanced lens. And then we've got role reversal, which is what you'll tend to create in your life. If you're a woman more on your male side, you'll tend to create being in relationships with guys that are more on their female side. And there's a term of a very popular book before Men Are From Mars, and it was called Codependent No More.
Oh, I've read that book.
Yeah, it's a very good book.
Great one. Yeah.
And it gave me a lot of insight into women as a foundation for my book, although 10 years of listening to women validated that. So,
yeah, for sure.
But a simple definition of codependence is kind of a definition of any woman who's struggling in a relationship. She makes her partner's needs more important than her own.
Yeah.
She makes her partner's needs more important than her own. And she will tend to, and that's codependent, and she will tend to be attracted to and attract what many people are calling today a moderate form of narcissism. So many women say, I meet narcissistic men, and then I go, oh, we have a codependent woman.
Well said.
So making somebody else's needs more important than your own is codependence. And narcissism, from a limited perspective, is making my needs more important than yours. And
so how do we find that balance, right?
Exactly. So the key to it is, now let's look at biology. Women need to make, just to be happy, not even romantic, 10 times more estrogen than a man. Men need to make, on average, 10 times more testosterone than a woman. Testosterone is produced when I'm making your needs more important than mine.
So if we put that in codependency terms, that's codependency, whereas narcissism is more feminine.
Well, exactly.
Could we say that?
I'm giving the biological basis of what we would call a narcissistic man is actually a very healthy woman. And what we would call a codependent man is, in many cases, is a very healthy man, which means his happiness primarily comes from making her happy.
Making her happy.
But that's not the whole picture, because before he can depend on her response for him to feel happier, he first has to be happy in his own life. See, men are not ready for intimate relationships. They may be horny, they may want a relationship, they want sex, which, by the way, shows that he's on his female side. He's wanting sex to get to his female side. You are his female side. You see, this is but he has to have enough testosterone, because when he has sex with you, his estrogen will go up. Okay. Anytime a man experiences pleasure or love or joy or gratitude, all those good feelings, that's estrogen. Now, I have lots of estrogen, but I have a lot more testosterone. So I can stay grounded in the part of me that doesn't take things personally. If you're not grounded into your biological sex, you don't know who you are. And therefore you take everything personally. What it means to take something personally, if a guy shoots me the finger, I wave at him and say, have a good day, and move on. I don't engage myself with that. Now, when I had lower self-esteem, when I never had low self-esteem, but when I was maturing, if somebody shot me the finger, I'd shoot it back, or I'd be bummed out all day and I feel terrible and whatever. That's because I'm letting that person determine who I am. And that's what self-esteem is. Another example of that is when I was a young man, I was teaching meditation. My first talk on transcendental meditation, I was 19 years old. And only one person came. I was devastated. Now, then the second talk, I made sure there was an audience of 30 people. And after that, a nice talk, people clapped. I'm a beginner at that point. and they had a good evening. It was good information. I was just copying somebody else's information at that time. So it was good ideas. It wasn't like I was a master of it. And people clapped and got a lot out of it. Some people learned to meditate, but there were always like 2 or 3 people that would come afterwards and question me in this, why would you say this tone of voice, where they weren't agreeing with me and they felt offended by what I said, or they felt critical of what I said, or I'm misleading people. So those people, 3 people and 30 people thought it was a wonderful talk. 3 people didn't. When I go home that night, who occupies my brain?
The 3 that didn't like it.
The 3 that don't like me. That's my own low self-esteem, where my sense of success is dependent upon just 3 people, as opposed to it's healthy. 30 people love me. Sounds great. I did a good job. And we are always interdependent. I'm not again, nobody's an island on themselves. That's what relationship is about. But when our partner is not providing the kind of support we would like or need, then we disconnect a bit and not dependent on them and depend more on ourselves. So a little self-talk, oh, what they need is this, or she's had a bad day, or he just, he needs to take his alone time for a while. I've been pestering him. You're able to take responsibility, but you're also not taking things so personally. And this is like, one of the best things of Men Are From Mars, and I elevated it in Beyond Mars and Venus. It's kind of like the updated Men Are From Mars, but with science. But that one of the big revelations is when men go to their cave. And when they go to their cave, women often take it personally. Now, if you're attracted to, in the beginning, this guy who's more on his female side, oh, I have such compassion for women today. They're like you said, they're so wimpy, they're so needy, they're so grumpy, they're so irritable, and you just want to get away from them. You want to take your cave time. But cave time for women only strengthens male hormones. Yeah. So rather than and there's a certain balance. You do need to have your own time separate from your partner. It's a big theme in my books, which is you need to look at a man as 10% of your happiness. Just 90% is you have a life. He's dessert. A man is just dessert. Okay.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's a big premise of what I teach and believe in is make your life the happiest version it can be, and then attract in a partner when you're already your best self.